Hello Taurus, this is your extended reading. So, wow, I am a little bit impressed by your extended, not only by the cards that came through, but the message being, a little bit connected to the Pisces reading, I believe, that was talking about, this internal process of healing a wound, but doing so throughout the whole day, right? 24/7, and doing it, under the sunlight and under the moonlight. It's how it came through, because the sun showed up in the first part and then the moon showed up in the extended, and it is exactly what's going on for you, Taurus. So I feel like somehow it's related to that message in Pisces, that they were, both consciously and unconsciously doing things energetically, right? But for you, it's a little bit different, because I feel like this work that is happening, during the night or unconsciously, I feel like it's not exactly for you. It's maybe, perhaps it is you, but I should say that the first thing that I saw was not exactly you. So we could read both ways, and I'll try to do that in a bit, but as I show the cards. But the first thing that I saw was that this extended, it's talking about another person that it's going through similar things, or going through this mastery that you're going, or this development of a spiritual ability that you're going through, right? And it's like you both are reaching this higher frequency where you'll be able to communicate. And maybe it's a person that you already know, or maybe it's someone new. I don't know, you'll know. But, or maybe this could play out as you, but I'll read it as I received it first, okay? So just keep that in mind, that this could be you. So we start this reading with this extended with the King of Swords. So it's interesting because, as I said, in the first part, we ended with you achieving this mastery as the Queen of Swords, right? And I saw that image in the card from the Good Tarot that Sen from Sen Tarot uses, where the Queen of Swords was this elder woman, but very wise, and she had an owl on her shoulder, right? So emphasizing all the double cards that came through your first part, Taurus. But here with this King of Swords, and especially because in that deck, and if you've known these cards that I'm talking about, if you don't, just go look for Sen Tarot, and perhaps in many of the readings, these two characters, they appear very often, or just search for the Good Tarot and you'll see. Anyway, I'm diverging from the message. Let's go back. Here, these two, they visually present in those two cards as very equal, as very balanced, as energies that vibrate in the same frequency, right? They are both elders that seem to have a lot of knowledge, seem to have a lot of wisdom within them, right? And this is that's the reason why I'm seeing this King of Swords for you today, Taurus, as as a partner, as maybe a potential partner, right? Someone that you haven't known yet, but this is why I'm saying this could be two people, you and another, but this could also be you leveling even up, like even higher up, right? Achieving even more mastery. But I'm going to read it, as I said, as another person, right? So this person is doing the work that you're doing consciously, right? Because you came with the sun, but they came with the moon. So you see, there is this little bit of difference, especially from the Pisces reading, because it was all them, right, doing that. But for you, I feel like this is you doing this work consciously, and this is them, this King of Swords, doing it unconsciously. And you know, the difference, especially because of the other cards, is that for me, seeing the whole picture now, I feel like you have achieved this place of mastery, of spiritual attunement with your higher self, you know, this merging with your higher self before. And they are still going through it, right? So, after the King of Swords, these two cards follow. So, the Moon, the Page of Swords, and the Devil. This is the reason why I'm saying that they maybe are still undergoing this phase of not making sense what they're going through, but just giving time for their subconscious mind to process all of this, right? Because it's happening, you know, under covers, it's happening under the surface, it's happening under their ability to perceive it, right, with this moon. And so, but they came also as a page, as you did, right? The Page of Swords. But, you know, dealing with the Devil, it feels like whatever they're uncovering from their unconscious mind feels really unbalanced, feels really challenging, feels really scary, feels like a really hard work. That, you know, them being a page dealing with the Devil, it's almost like whatever they had to face, right, to develop this connection, this knowing in themselves that they hold a lot of potential within them, right? Because remember, these three dots were these sprouts of flowers ready to bloom, right? But knowing that there is space to grow, they do unconsciously, they know that they hold that knowing. But because the challenger, right, is this Devil, it feels like it's necessary to be happening in the unconscious mind. It's what I'm sensing, because it is very dense, right? They could not deal with it in a way that you're dealing with a lot of light and a lot of conscious awareness. You see what I mean? So this part of their process is very mysterious and very it's happening, you know, during the night. Maybe they're dealing with nightmares, right? It's something that it's been coming up recently in the last few readings. So perhaps they are dealing with that, but with a lot of humility too, right? And so the next cards is, they're actually talking about their process, talking about their development, talking about their humble way of dealing with something that could be very heavy, very hard to overcome, right? So we have the Eight of Swords and Temperance. So this is, you know, this is where the Devil is coming through, right? And actually emphasizing the nightmares, because actually this Eight of Swords was also a card, I think, in the Pisces or maybe the Aries reading, where this was presenting as nightmares, right? And so, and it fits very well with the moon, right? All of this perhaps shadow work that is going on while they're asleep. And it could be very heavy, right? So they embodying this student position of, but very humble, very open to learning, right? With the page, right? Like you did, as you did in the first part, but being a challenge from the major arcana, right? it would be really unbalanced. You see, they wouldn't be able to deal with it, not consciously and not on their own. So I feel like here is what this process is developing towards, right? This challenge, these nightmares, this devil energy here presented, you know, again with this Eight of Swords, but this Temperance being this help from the universe to overcome this. So here, right, now you're fighting equally, right? So they're not backing out, they're not backing off, they're not although, and you know, maybe this is why this all has to happen within their subconscious mind, right? Because it's a lot to confront. But in doing so, right, in facing the fears, it's also a message that was coming through this Eight of Swords in previous readings. In facing their fears, they're learning how to soften it, right? What I'm seeing with these drops of water from the Temperance card is like this softening of these very sharp energies, right? And so for you, it's like you already know that you're drinking from the source. I feel like they're not yet aware that they too are drinking from the source. And perhaps this is something that it's so energetically, right, that maybe it's, you know, this understanding that they don't have yet. But I feel like because you're both coming, right, as Queen and King of Swords, I feel like you will have the understanding. And maybe you will talk about it, right? You will communicate about this understanding of the process that both of you went on your own to achieve the place of mastery that you are right now. But for them, it's a little bit different than yours, right? It's a different process. So maybe this help from the universe and this drinking from the source, it's all happening under the surface for them, right? They don't actually realize that that is what is happening for them. But the beautiful thing is that we end this part of your reading, Taurus, with 2 cards instead of just one, as I usually pull just a roll of 3, right, to finish this part. But these 2 cards came together, and I feel it's funny because the last 2, and actually including yours, but you know, Pisces and Aries, they have something to add to your reading or something to relate to your reading somehow, because these 2 cards were present in Aries reading, at Aries Extended actually, and they were talking about, you know, giving yourself time to heal, but allowing yourself to envision a bigger dream, to daydream, right? And so these 2 cards coming together for you, ending your reading, Taurus, what I'm saying is that this is maybe your perception that they're going through this process still. And whether this is a person that you already know or not, I feel like this message is coming towards you just to understand their perspective, right? Even before you can communicate, but it's like this instant understanding between you both, because you're being given this this privileged information, maybe, right, to see their side, right, before they can even have the awareness that they're going through all of this, because it's happening for them all unconsciously, right? And so ending these 2 cards, ending this reading with these 2 cards, I feel like this is just this continuation. It's beautiful because there is a lot of room to grow for both of you, right? Individually. And for them, it's going from this resting mode, from this healing mode, this unconscious healing, to new dreams, right? To new visions, to this looking to the horizon and expanding their vision, right? So perhaps, even though this is something that for them is happening all unconsciously, maybe that they'll get to a point where and maybe through you, right? Maybe through a conversation with you, they'll realize all of that. You know, they'll become conscious of it, and they'll see their vision expanding because of it. So it's actually beautiful, because I feel like there is this, yeah, as I said in the first part, there is this beautiful dance, right? This perfect harmony, and it's happening in silence and unconsciously for them, this beautiful dance with the universe, right? To overcome and master their fears, and dream again. And for you, you have already achieved that with the 2 6s, but also there is this, it's like this natural flow and blending of the 2 energies, right? You being this perfect pair, I wanted to say, but it's just like, it's like this counterpart energy that really mix well together. And it's something that it's actually here, right? Mixing the energies. So it's like this perfect, it's this dance between both of you, although I feel like you don't know each other yet, which is very strange, but nevertheless, you'll know if this resonates for you. So let's pull from the astrological runes and see what is the final guidance for you, Taurus. And you know, I just had this thought now. It's interesting because the first part was all you, consciously aware of this development and very humble to receive all of this knowledge, right? And achieving it. But the second part is them, the other, the partner, going through similar things, but from the unconscious perspective. And because we had a lot of 6s, you know, 2 6s and 2 pages on your first part, as I said, you know, you seeing yourself in the dual world that we live, but recognizing yourself as one. I feel like this is the perfect dance that is going on between you and them, right? Is this, especially because, you know, if we think about the 2 principles, the feminine and the masculine coming together, and as I said, this could be you or this could be another, but if this is another, this is like this perfect blend of the masculine and the feminine, the 2 becoming one, right? Creating one interaction, one relationship. Or this, if this is you, and you're doing this, you know, other work unconsciously, it's like this perfect blend of your own energy as these 2 principles, you see? So let's pull from the astrological runes. Yeah, okay. So the rune that came through was the Ascendant, and this is interesting because it's actually not a planet or a sign, right? Or this this body, this celestial body. It's actually a point, a virtual point on the chart, right? On our birth charts. And it's interesting. So it's coming through 2 things. One message is that it's a new beginning, because the ascendance begins the whole chart, right? It starts the first house, so it is a beginning in a sense. But what I felt before, so the first message, which I'm saying secondly, but whatever, is that this is something that is embodied, is something that is happening outwardly. It's something that you are manifesting in the world. It's something that you'll be able to touch, to feel, to live, to experience, right? Because the ascendant is our personality, is our identity, and if you will, in a very practical sense, our personalities are our ego also. So in a sense, this guidance of the ascendant is saying that also, okay, this is interesting. Oh, this is going to be long, but this is interesting. So because we had the duality coming very strong in your part, and you becoming aware of all of this duality, right? But embodying it, accepting it, living it, and integrating it, right? Turning it into one, recognizing the light that comes from the sun, but which is feeding the flower, but also being the flower. You see what I mean? So this ascendant is saying that it's a chance for you to understand that your ego is part of you. Your personality is not something that you have to get rid of or forget or deny. It's not, it's like, it's this necessary part for you to embody yourself, embody your soul, right? Is the vehicle, the vessel for you to walk this planet, for you to walk this plane, right? So it's this integration process, right? Just embrace your ego, also embrace your personality, but with this humble perspective that you have already mastered. So you won't be ego driven. You see what I mean? I hope this was helpful. I think this was just a gorgeous message. I'm very energized with it right now. So I hope it was insightful for you. If you're going through this, thank you so much for being here with me. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.